Good morning, Christie. So I got your images on the screen here. I'll go through each of the items. That's a really cool looking place, man. I wish I had a place like that in our city. Unbelievable. Love it. It's got that real vintagey, old school look. I love those ceilings. I would suggest that you bring that main light in. Bring it in really close. If you look at my images, my main light's in really, really close. The further away the main light is, the less soft it is. The closer it is, the softer it is. It wraps around the shadows nicer. Just a little minor tweak for that one. See, the main light. Just bring it right over here. And of course, we talked about this already, but I'd bring the set, 3-4 feet away from the backdrop. I would easily put a drop and use the floor as part of the fairy set. I would easily do that. So you could actually push this backdrop up higher and then curl it under on the edge, or just, it could blend into the floor a little bit, and then add some leaves and that to make it blend in even more. But this floor is kind of a neutral color. It almost looks like a rock. Just food for thought. And I don't know what's on the right over here, to the right. Here I'm pointing that way, right here. If there's a white wall, or you said there's a mirror or something like that, I don't know if you're able to push the whole set that way, so you get a little more fill from your shadow. Not a super important thought, but just something to me you may want to consider. I'm just looking at this here. Okay, I see your backdrop now. Yeah. Hold on. From here, it looks like the section that's on the floor is longer than what I see here. I don't know why. Maybe it's an optical illusion. Yeah. So you've got a lot more room on this section here of the backdrop. So what I said earlier, I don't know, just something to think about as far as tucking this in. It depends on the actual how much room you got. Anyways, these are minor tweaks. They're not major. They're not life or death. You know what I mean? Just something to think about. That's how my brain works. I'm like, how can I just tweak this a little bit? I wish you had a bigger mirror. That mushroom's really big too. Just something for down the road when you're dripping with cash. Just think about it. Again, not super important. So yeah, okay, that's my thoughts on that. I'm going to get to this in a minute. Just let me go. Okay, I opened up one of your files here. So I hit auto profile. Oh, okay. I guess that's a raw. All right. Just checking out the shadow detail here. Wish it would let me just kind of halfway zoom in. It's all or nothing. Must be a raw thing. Okay, let me go up here. There. Okay, your camera looks a little grainy. I mean, it's not important. Okay, so here's what I do. I hit auto. I usually bring the highlights down a little bit, just to get a little bit of detail. I usually bring the whites down a little bit. Then I'll tweak the exposure just a little more. That's what I typically do. You can dehaze it a bit to give it a little more punch. You got nice shadow detail in there after all, so that looks pretty good. Sometimes I cheat the shadow detail a little bit right here, just to kick it in a little more. Just tweak it a little bit. No hard fast rules here. Adjusted taste. Texture, I'm not going to bother with that one. Clarity. Again, these three give it a little more punch. A little more contrast. Well, let's go with that. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, it is a raw. It says right there, reading raw format. Um, there we go. I'm just inspecting here. Let me try something. I want to do a crop before I work on it. I'm just trying to figure if you can move in a little closer when you're shooting. I don't know. What do you think? It's a big file. My computer's really slow today. So I'm gonna select that. Let's do this. Fill it in. Content aware. See what we get. Slow. It's because I'm recording too. Look how slow that is. There we go. Alright, that's better. I mean, this may not matter in the long run if you're just cropping in tight anyways, but I'm just going to do this regardless. I know you like full color, you don't like half sepia, but I'm just gonna play with this using my typical workflow. And then we got this section here. Come on. I'm wondering what that is down there. I can't tell what this is. Alright, well, let's just clone it out. A little bit. Okay, I'm gonna before I do that, let me check out the info. Canon EOS R5. Well, it is mirrorless. ISO 800. You're at a 26 mil. That's a pretty wide lens. If you can get that, if you could shoot around 50, that's what I would do. And instead of zooming out, just walk back or walk in. But you know, I would set that lens at 50-ish. I wouldn't go to 26. That's wide. That's going to create distortion. So, just food for thought. You're at f10. You don't need to be at f10. So try and bring your ISO down to 200 at f8. That should work no problem. Okay, I'm going to rotate this. And I'm going to size it down so it's quicker. Man, what is all that stuff over there, eh? Unbelievable. I don't know what it is. Most of it may not matter in the end. Alright, so I'm just going to, just for fun, fire off my workflow. Well, I have a shortcut for it. F5. Duh. Oh wait, this is not going to work. Sorry, my workflow is not going to work because I'm running a raw filter. You can't really run a raw filter 2 times. Okay, never mind that. I got to move that microphone over a bit. Just for fun, I'm going to go half sepia. Just to complicate things for you. I'm doing this really quick here. I'm not going to fuss. Okay, I'm do a couple things here. Ripple. Usually I have the ripple in my action. So I just have to go and You've probably seen that. Make it look like water. Okay, I'm gonna run this action which creates an adjustment layer for lightening. I'm gonna bring that way up using the brush. I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna lighten the girls. You can use a dodge tool. It's a little destructive. Good toe position. You got the little girl, I mean, she's just doing her thing. These girls are well posed. I would be tempted to put her, I would ask her, she's older, she's probably about 8 or 9. I would ask her just to sit up a little straighter and bring her hands out so she looks more dainty, you know what I mean? It's hard to do that stuff when you got 3 kids, but you get really good at it after a while. Come on. I'm moving this over, but it's bogged. There we go. Transform. Ripple time. So again, I'm just playing, that's all. Just kind of seeing where it goes, what it looks like. I know you're not familiar with Photoshop, but I think it's essential. I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to put one right there. See that? It's like she picked it up and boop. All right, let's go to the lights. Put one light right here. I'm going to put a starburst right there. So you could have more depth in your backdrop. There we go. I got a lot of starbursts going on. So you don't have to go half sepia, it's just my preference. Once you do decide on what your full color or half sepia or not, it's just stick to it. Okay, I added black and I sharpened just now, and I'm gonna add soft focus. Oh, I hit the wrong one. It's my fat fingers. So you can see how with the backlight and a couple kickers, it's going to create a lot more depth. A lot more depth. It's just going to create more texture. So this is my soft focus. I always have about 8, 9, or 10 opacity. I never go full bore because it's a little bit strong. I mean, look what happens if I go full. Yeah, it's no good, see? It's based on the kind of a cheater frequency separation technique. So the way I do my soft focus is I go, like I said, nice and low. I just tap it in the middle, and then I go all the way around a little stronger. There you go. So if that were cropped in, 8 by 10, or 8.5 by 11, you know, whatever, roughly speaking. So I'm just playing. Let me work on one more. I know you sent me 3 images. I'll just work on one more real quick. Let's go with the other one. This one. Okay. Auto. White. Come on. That's an awkward angle. Kind of. It's kind of cute. I don't know. Shadows are nice. All right, let's just go with that. I shoot everything JPEG, 100%. It just saves time, and I've tested 22 years now. I've been 100% digital. Every once in a while I retest and I see no difference, and that pisses people off. Why don't you shoot raw? So I think one of the problems with this image is you're shooting wide again. Let's verify. Come on. Yeah, what are we at here? I at 33. So just set it to 50 or 60 and just walk back or walk back or walk forward. That's all you got to do. And you're getting a little bit too wide here. I see this massive fill light. I'm not sure what that is, but the main light, I don't know. What is that? It's a good pose. Can't see her left hand right here. You know what? I'm going to size this down. These files are pretty big. Yeah, F10. You don't need F10. You could shoot 5.6 or F8. I mentioned F8 in the other image, but even 5.6 works. You don't need to shoot at ISO 800. I don't know what... I've heard this about some of the Canon mirrorless, that the ISO is not as effective as the Sony and etc. Not that I want to start a big Sony versus Canon war. I got a buddy of mine who's used to work for us. He's a mining photographer now. He shoots high ISO. He's got a DSLR Canon. He's been looking at going Canon or Sony mirrorless, and he came by last week and borrowed my Sony just to test. Canon sent him a mirrorless to test, but he was not impressed. Okay, I'm going to go in here. I'm lightening. See? I'm going to flatten that, and I'm going to run it again. I'll lighten it even more. Not sure about that headpiece. I'm not sure. Okay. Oh, I got this one here. I'm just going to keep full color. I want to try something. Duplicate layer, top layer multiply. Go in and I'm going to erase. I'm just trying this just for fun. Okay, and then I'm going to bring the opacity down. This is an old school technique. So duplicate layer, top layer onto multiply. And then you erase. See? See how it darkens it? Then you can adjust that. I'm just having fun. Try one more thing here. I'm just playing. Just playing. You know what I mean. That's a big ass frog. Look at that. Ribbit. Ribbit. So I just ran topaz just to give it a little more punch. All right, let's go here. Almost done. So, you know what I'm doing, it's not a hard, fast rule. This isn't the end all be all. I'm just playing, looking at ideas for you to consider is all. That's cute. I wish we could have, where'd you get that frog in the baby frog? That would be a cool conversation piece when I'm photographing my fairies. You know, I call it the mummy frog and the baby frog. All right, so we got a light there. Random placement. Random. This is how I do all my fairy workflow. I just randomly place them around. Like as if all these little fairy lights, we represent little fairies, and they're flying around here. So I'm going to go to, see the rays? Put that up there, and I'm going to erase, because it was kind of going into her face a little bit. Okay, I'm going to flatten, add black, sharpen, soft focus. So there you go. 10. And voila. So if you wanted to go half sepia, you can always do that later. You can see what it looks like. I wish that mushroom wasn't so close to her. My mushroom's a little shorter, you know, so it's hiding her left hand. And this girl, again, I think she's about 8, possibly going on 9. A girl like that, you can really, they'll listen better. So I will tweak her. I'll have her to lean in a little bit more. It looks, and the hands out, you know, I can see both fingers, and she's looking down. In this case, she'd be looking down at the froggy, and looking down and then peeking at the camera. Hard to do that with a 2-3-year-old, but with an older girl, it's not a big deal. Holy shit, 24 minutes. All right, this is looking good. I would consider pushing everything left justify. You got everything middle, and you got everything italics. I would make this bold. You could make it italics, but make the rest non-italics. It just, to me, is confusing. Same with all this. Make this bold, push everything to the left. You can make this a headline like 3, you know, the heading 3, and this could be heading 2, so this will be a little bit bigger, and then this would be heading 2 or heading 3. That's the different settings in WordPress, I believe. Well, it's common in all Word programs. So yeah, push everything over, put bullets here, bullet, 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 bullet. Make this a bit bold. So are they going to call the studio, or are they going to fill in the forum down below? A little bit confusing. I'm not sure. I mean, you're almost there. Obviously, you put a lot of work into it, and I hope these. I would not put the before and after. You don't need that in the sales page. That's not a thing. You just show them the end result. This you show them later when you do the proofing, and what have you. You're really pushing for little boys. That's cool. If there's dates, okay. So you're saying contact me for dates. A little bit confusing, but I rarely have them look at the camera like this. Well, I don't know what it is. She's kind of cute. She has a real classic look on her face. And yeah, sometimes I do. Yeah, never mind that. So anyways, yeah, you're 90% there. Keep doing what you're doing with this one. Yeah, okay. 26 minutes in. I gotta go. Hopefully this helps. Let me know what you think. Thank you.